Hey there, how y'all doing? This is data almost on trail, but not quite, from my day zero. Today I drove from the western suburbs of Chicago down here to Waynesboro, Virginia. Took me about 12 hours. It was a nice drive. I was solo, so I didn't shoot a lot of video, but I'll include that as a part of this video after this introduction. I've always said that I was going to try to stay anonymous, and I still am basically without using my name, but I did think it was about time that I showed folks what I look like in case they run into me on trail. Y'all are more than welcome to say hello. On trail, I'll be in different colored hiking clothes, and my hair will probably be tied back either in a baseball cap or a buff, an orange buff. But other than that, this is who I am, for those who are curious. I have all my gear came down with me, and I'll do a pack explosion tomorrow morning. It's the 4th of March 2025, and there's a big storm rolling in to the Waynesboro area here in the Shenandoahs tonight into tomorrow morning. Really big, like 30-mile-an-hour winds, some lightning and some thunder. But timing looks like it should still be the case that I can get on trail by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that. The plan for my first day was to hike just to Calf Mountain Shelter, so that will be about 7.7 or 8 miles, something like that. And I should have a big enough gap without rain, although it will be kind of windy. I should still be able to get that hike in, and then probably stay in the shelter that evening in case the second round of storms that rolls in, maybe or maybe not at night, does actually roll in. I'm really about ready to go for the hike. I will do a pack explosion tomorrow. I doubt that I'll film that, just to rearrange a few things in the pack and to pull some things out, like what I'm going to be wearing, things like that. Yeah, I'm anxious to go. These videos will start airing daily, probably about a week after I get on trail. So tomorrow will be March 5th, and that will be my first day on trail. I'm starting out at Rockfish Gap at the southern end of the Shenandoah National Park. I began here, and I'm going north because this is one of the easiest sections of the Appalachian Trail. So I want to see if on a little bit easier section, if I can get my mileage up above 15 miles a day a couple of times, and also just get some training in. And I think other than that, I don't have many updates. The drive down was pretty easy. I'm staying at a Residence Inn that's in Waynesboro, and I drove an Enterprise car down. Enterprise was really good about dropping me off over here at the hotel. They would have also taken me to the trailhead, but I don't want to do that. I didn't want to drop the car off tomorrow morning and do that because it's going to be raining pretty heavily from 4 or 5 in the morning till about noon tomorrow. So yeah, day zero was good, good enough, and I'm really chomping at the bit to get on trail. So from data here on day zero, 1 day away from hitting the Appalachian Trail for my 2025 flip-flop of a through hike, I just wanted to say happy trails to all of you, and you can look forward to daily updates beginning probably about a week or so after I hit trail. So start rolling those out, and I'll just time them to where they come out daily, even though I'll be doing them in batches of 2 or 3 on my town days. I don't know much else. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and well wishes are welcome, and appreciate all the support from the 300 plus subscribers I have already. It's been especially good that some folks have asked me questions or made recommendations or made suggestions to me about things, and I've incorporated a lot of that in what I'm doing. So I'm still in the learning mode. I still think I'm a pretty novice guy when it comes to through hiking, so I have a lot to learn. So feel free to share any comments or any suggestions or ideas you have as I embark on this, what for me is really the through hike of a lifetime. So thanks for coming along, and with that, happy trails. Hey there. How y'all doing? So this is data almost on trail. Coming to you from my long commute from the Chicago area down to Waynesboro, Virginia on my day 0 of my Appalachian Trail through hike. I'm about halfway through that 12-hour commute right now, and this is really about all there has been to capture all day. Coming across the Midwest, things are pretty flat. This is where I grew up and where I live now, which is why I think that for me, even the Shenandoahs this week will be a marked contrast to the flatlands that I tend to call home. So I'll shoot some snippets along the way, but for now, this is my day 0 commute to the trailhead. So, I'm in the 3rd state of all I'll cross through today. I'm finished with Indiana, and I'm finished with Illinois where I started, and now I'm moving due southeast through Ohio. And still pretty flat in the Midwest, but at least I went by a state park a minute ago, and there's some interesting stuff. But really, it's mostly more like this, just, you know, the interstate and the back end of semis. But I've been pretty lucky so far. There hasn't been too much traffic, and there was some pretty fierce rain coming out of Chicago, but so far the day 0 commute to the trailhead has been pretty smooth. I'm on schedule. I should still be able to get to Waynesboro, Virginia by 5:30 in order to return the car today. The Enterprise place there in Waynesboro closes at 5:30 and doesn't allow for after-hour turn-ins. So I'm trying to haul my fanny down there by their closing time because there's a big storm blowing in tomorrow. So my day 1 is going to be met with a just monstrous storm, but if I can get the car returned today and get to the trailhead right at sunup tomorrow, depending on the pace of that storm, I could hike in just the lighter rain at the beginning of the storm, not the thunderstorm that's coming midday. And the plan for day 1 is just to hike to the first shelter, which is Mountain Shelter. So that's only going to be, you know, it's like 7 miles, maybe 8. So that's a good, you know, 2.5, 3.5 hours of hiking. So we get on trail by 6 or 7, I should be done by before noon, which is when that big thunderstorm is going to roll in. And I'll just sit in the Calf Mountain Shelter in that case and watch it. But we'll see on tomorrow's video if that's how all this worked out. Because right now I still have 4 or 5 hours of this to do. So I'm still in southeastern Ohio, but I don't know, we might be crossing into West Virginia before long. I don't know. Well, I haven't seen a sign, and the mapping software hasn't said anything, but going over kind of a pretty bridge here I thought I'd capture. That almost looks big enough to be Ohio River. Yep, there's a sign. Welcome to West Virginia. So now I'm 3 states done for the day, with just West Virginia to do, and then I end up in Virginia here in a little while. So I think I'll put this down to drive for a minute, though. I don't need my 0 day to end up in a ticket or an accident as I start winding through the mountains of West Virginia. Well, I've made it to Charleston, West Virginia. I've been here before for business projects, for sorts of things, conferences, I think, but I always did really enjoy this road. It's a stretch of I-64 that runs parallel to the river. It's nice. It's a pretty well maintained, well marked. You go haul butt on this thing, and yet you still get a nice view. There's the mountains on the left when you're eastbound. It's really more southeast bound. Charleston's not a really large town, so you can also kind of come out of it pretty quickly with the river on your right and back into the foothills of the west side of the Appalachians. So these houses over on the far side of the river are just gorgeous, aren't they? High enough up on the hill, they don't have to worry about floods. Nice view of the river, and then also of the mountain stonework that's been done to clear a path to this interstate. So I'm down to about my last 3 hours of driving now, and I am on schedule to make it to Waynesboro, Virginia by 5 or 5:15 in time to return my Enterprise rental car. I'm a little up in the air on whether I will actually hike tomorrow. Today's day 0, and tomorrow I had planned to be day 1, but I have a hiking friend who texted me a little while ago and said that the storm that I knew was blowing in for tomorrow is going to be, in his estimation, a little more fierce than what I might have planned for, and he's down here in Virginia, so I trust his opinion on that. So now I have a decision to make about whether I take a 0-day right to start and just delay the start of my hike by 24 hours, or whether I get up bright and early tomorrow morning and try to beat the most fierce part of this thunderstorm to the first shelter north of Rockfish Gap. And I don't really know which way I'm going to come down on that. I think I'm going to let Mother Nature dictate. There's a handsome set of bridges here. I believe those are the state colors of West Virginia. I think. Blue and gold. It's like a navy blue and a harvest gold. So I think I'll put this away for now, and I'll fire it back up again once I finally get to Virginia. I think I'm going to have to just rely on the local weather forecast and whatever radar looks like once I get into town as to whether or not my day 0 this day ends up becoming a double day 0, which is not my preference, but I think I'm going to let Mother Nature and the radar systems dictate that at this point. And so it might not be a decision I can make until, game time about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. But I think I'm still going to call a shuttle service in Waynesboro and ask about their opinion and ask if they'd be available at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and ask if I can wait until 5:30 to tell them that. So anyway, this is Data cruising through the highways of the mountainous section of West Virginia. Sure is pretty, even in the late winter. I'll probably shoot some more stuff once I finish up West Virginia and get on to driving through Virginia. And maybe a little bit of stuff in Waynesboro this evening when I have dinner. Well, here we are, folks. I have just entered my last state for the day. This is Virginia, and I'm headed eastbound. It's not quite as hilly as mountainous as West Virginia was, but still very, very pretty as compared to the flatlands of the Midwest I've spent the last 6 months in. Racing a little bit because I need to get this car returned by 5 o'clock, and right now I'm on schedule. Well, I have it until 5:30, but I'm trying to make it there by 5 so that they can also give me a ride over to my hotel. And it's not too tough. I mean, I think I have plenty of time, but the of mountainous terrain takes some concentration. So I have not been filming very much, except where it starts to straighten out and level out a little bit. And as you can see here, I have had the road for the last 10 or 15 minutes kind of all to myself pretty much. So I thought this would be a good time to capture some of the beauty of Western Virginia. So yeah, it looks like my attempt to get here before 5:30 is likely to be a success today, and I'll review and update all that once I get to my hotel here in a couple hours. So I still have about an hour and a half of driving, so I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched, so to speak. But Lordy, old Virginia is beautiful now. I am now very much looking forward to hiking through these mountains, starting either tomorrow or the next day.